This is Boomer Life on CL650.
You got to know when to hold up, know when to fold up, know when to walk away.
And welcome back to Boomer Life on CL650. I'm Joanne Sutton, joined with Jim Doyle in the studio today, Senior Financial Consultant with Investors Group, and we're talking about your financial future. Just before we took a quick break, Jim, we were addressing some topics that some people may never think is actually something that they would talk to their financial advisor about. But you were sharing tips with us on how to help your kids, or some people's kids, buy their very first home. Something that could seem very simple on the surface, but it's not always so simple. It's clear that you actually take the time to listen and understand the whole story before exploring options and outcomes for your clients, including the impact of choices that are made today. And here's the really important part: consequences of the future.
You know, Joanne, I get it. People just want simple. However, sometimes decisions which seem relatively straightforward can have unintended consequences, just like that house that might have been bought 10 years ago. There's a number of concerns that could be problematic, and your team of professionals work hard to prevent future problems. It's important to remember, though, that they can't help you if they're unclear about the purpose behind your plans, and this includes complicated family dynamics that could be at play.
So one of the topics that we brought up in the last show that really concerns the importance of understanding family dynamics is their role when it comes to the family business.
It's difficult for families to talk about money, and it's equally difficult for families to talk about family businesses. Parents can be expert procrastinators when it comes to getting their estate planning documents in order, and they're even worse communicating their wishes to those that they leave behind. We've seen the chaos that this creates, and the resulting infighting and resentment, and often the business can be a casualty of the process.
Actually, I think we've read about a few of those in the news as well. I know you have a lot of experience around dealing with family business, so could you actually offer up a couple of quick tips to our listeners?
Here's a golden gem. First, talk to your family about your plans. If this isn't easy for you, or you're not sure where to start, call me, and I'll be happy to offer a few ideas to help facilitate this family discussion. My second tip, because things change, ensure that your will allows your executor to have some flexibility with regards to post-mortem estate planning. If it's not put in the will, this is one of those things in hindsight someone's going to wish that it had been considered ahead of time.
You've talked about divorce on a couple of our shows, and even as early as today, about 20 minutes ago. When it comes to family businesses and divorce, what are some of the specific issues that could actually come up there?
A surprising detail we often see is that the potential for discord is all the greater when second marriages and family businesses are involved. That's where blended family issues come in again.
Oh, that's right. And money does have a sort of a common thread of changing people at times.
It's definitely an eye-opening experience for families in conflict. There's a fair amount of help available, but for family businesses, not so much. And it's rarely talked about how divorce affects the family business.
There seem to be so many moving parts when families and businesses are combined. There's emotions, there's money, there's relationships, and of course expectations. It does make for quite an interesting mix.
You know, it's not just the couple who are affected. It could be their family or staff. Part of the equation that I think is rarely considered are things like suppliers, lenders, maybe landlords or employees, all asking questions about what do their futures look like.
Family businesses can represent a lot of different things to a lot of the different people involved, the stakeholders. You've got everybody's retirement plan possibly tied up in this.
For many families, the family business is the means for creating the retirement plan. I think we could talk for hours on this subject. Sometimes the parents' values and the kids' values align, when we talk about plans for family businesses. But it's not uncommon that we have competing agendas, depending on whether you're talking to the parents or to their kids. Mom and dad might want to harvest from the business and pay for their retirement, and the kids might want to use the business resources to grow the business. When I work with family businesses, this is a discussion that can take a bit of planning.
So as you've mentioned before, a lot of families aren't great at communicating around sensitive issues with family dynamics. They're not even great at communicating at the best of times over breakfast. But it's a very hard conversation to have, especially when money and emotions are involved. And usually there's a lot of emotion involved when it is a family business.
One tip that I can offer that I think would be a great benefit for a number of business owners is to set up a business advisory board.
A lot of business owners maybe can't afford to hire anybody else. So how could they use a business advisory board? How do they do that?
Now these could be unpaid people. The real value of an advisory board is the accountability. If you own your own business, chances are you're not accountable to anybody. Well, maybe except your lenders. So how the advisory board helps is to bring focus back onto issues that are often put onto a back burner, things that we don't want to address now.
So who would actually be on this advisory board?
Really want to suggest that they should choose those members well. The process is going to need to be well orchestrated with an understanding of the distinctive roles its members will play. The best advice frequently comes from outside the company and outside their circle of friends and family. The members of the board, they're going to need to be able to challenge the owner. They're not likely to have any real decision-making capability. And this isn't about selecting people who will nod in agreement with your ideas or longtime colleagues who know you and your business well. It's about getting their expertise in front of you to better direct and guide the company for future growth. There's a lot of things we haven't covered, but I think this helps start the conversation.
Definitely. Isn't one of the biggest problems with business owners just getting them to find the time to take action on things? What do you say to this type of a person that owns a business?
How about if I talk to them about their pocketbooks? Advisory boards can boost profits.
You hit them right where it counts, in the money book. Like that business plan you're always talking about, you mean?
Yeah, I like that idea. But I also like the idea of talking about a succession plan, developing the leadership skills of the kids if they're going to be taking over or groomed to take over the business. An advisory board can also have a significant impact on the success of the business in areas like innovation, risk management, vision, and of course, profitability.
So basically, it sounds like what we're talking about comes down to good planning, tax, and estate planning.
In an effort to be fair, we often see this outcome, never really anticipating problems or the need to do things differently in the future. When well-intentioned parents have never spoken to their kids about their estate planning wishes, the kids are left to sort it out.
Jim, I've heard throughout the show today about the value of good communication. It's the essence of our business as well. But this becomes more important when we talk about family businesses, and then even more important when we talk about blended families. Why do you feel that wealth transfer is threatened by poor communication?
A lot of families tell us they expect to provide an inheritance to loved ones, but a very significant percentage of them have not discussed the financial and tax implication of those inheritances with their advisor or with their family for that matter. If conversations regarding the transfer of wealth between those who have it and those who receive it are not taking place, it seems like there's a clear disconnect between the generations when it comes to wealth transfer.
So do you have a list of topics that could become areas of conflict if parents and their kids don't actually discuss them before decisions are made?
I do. For example, parents who use trust to protect wealth intended for their children or grandchildren may worry that their kids will worry that their own judgment is not trusted. Children may be also unclear as to the benefits of charitable giving and wonder why their parents are setting aside a portion of their wealth for that purpose. When it comes to the family cottage, this can have a lot of challenges. Parents might expect the cottage to be used for many generations, but the kids might feel differently. And here's the big part. This could result in a lot of lost planning opportunities for the property while the parents are alive.
What about parents who name more than one child on an investment or bank account in order to avoid probate? Is that an issue?
I think this one should come with a warning, because the potential for conflict is huge and could limit the possible estate planning strategies for the parents.
It obviously warrants a lot more discussion as well. What are some tips that you could actually share with clients to develop a wealth transfer plan, something that's effective?
I think I'd start by encouraging clients and their partners to openly discuss how they want wealth to benefit those that they care about. I think it's important to leave enough room in the planning to alter things because things change. Talk to your family about your goals, wishes, and values while you're alive. It can go a long ways towards helping the survivors understand the planning that has been put in place.
It sounds like it's really important to understand that all of the best planning in the world gets lost if it's not implemented. I really like the idea of using an advisory board and using your professional advisors for the maximum benefit of the business and the family. You're listening to Boomer Life on CL 650. I'm Joanne Sutton. Today, we're speaking about your financial future with Jim Doyle, Senior Financial Consultant with Investors Group. When we come back from this break, we're going to look at getting a better handle on risk and how engaging a financial advisor can enhance your financial success. That's all coming up next on Boomer Life on CL 650. In the meantime, if you'd like to get to learn a little bit more about Jim Doyle and how he helps financially comfortable Canadians, please visit his website, jimdoyle.ca, or you can personally give him a call, 604-682-5431. We'll be right back.
Celebrating the baby boomer lifestyle. This is Boomer Life on CL 650.